I welcome you all to this video by the Anchoring Club of IIT Guwahati. And today we have in our studio Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai.
Thank you very much. Thanks for us.
To begin on a casual note, how is your regular day? How is the regular weekday, sir?
How's a regular weekday? A regular weekday, frankly, is for me is just like is I I go for a morning walk. Now I've started yoga on some days.
Has it begun after Mr. Modi did the yoga
I
day?
don't know whether it has to do with anything with Mr. Modi. It was just that somebody recommended it. I said, okay, I'll try it. And I get to office nowadays a little more relaxed by 11:30. Earlier, I used to be in office by 9:30. When I was setting up CNN IBN in particular, when you're doing a startup, then everything from jhadu pocha to everything, you have to be ready to do anything and everything. So that was true when I was setting up CNN IBN. Today, I guess I don't need to go through that grind at the moment because I'm just doing consulting with India Today. So I go by 11:30. I attend the morning editorial meeting. I sort of work out what I want for my show. Then go off for lunch. Have a half an hour sleep. Get back to office by about 5:36. Then I'm in office till about 10:30. And I do this Monday to Friday. And on Saturdays, Sundays, I either travel to places like IIT Guwahati or I just sleep. Or I read. I catch up on all my reading on the weekends.
Sir, you highlighted where the journalist and the media is lacking these days. For example, a lot of cheerleading journalism is happening. A lot of tamasha, sapari journalism, and all. You threw light on all those aspects. What I want to ask you, sir, is कि इस journalism के stature को raise करने के लिए how we consumers of news, what we need to do.
It's a tough one, Do I blame you for falling standards as a viewer and say, or do I blame myself? I don't think I can blame you. At the end of the day, I am the content provider. You are the consumer. As a consumer, you may want a particular kind of masala journalism. But does that mean because you want a particular kind of masala journalism, that's all I will provide you? I think the challenge is for us as content creators to be innovative, and particularly as journalists to recognize that we're not primarily entertainers. I'm not Shah Rukh Khan. So I'm not judging myself whether my film is going to make 300 crores on the box office or not. I'm not making Chennai Express. I'm in the news business, and news has to have a larger role. There has to be a certain moral compass that has to define news. So I'm not going to blame you as the viewer. Yes, as a viewer, I would like you to watch, let's say, much more public interest journalism, perhaps. But you could turn around and say, where is it? Why aren't you providing it to me? So I don't know. It's a chicken and egg situation. And I think at the end of the day, the buck must stop with me. As a content provider, as a journalist, it is my responsibility to provide you quality news across different fields. Then it is for you, the viewer, to decide what you want to watch, what you don't want to watch. I can't influence your choices.
Sir, if we start questioning the content being provided to us, if we start and make it pretty evident in our practicing life, won't that actually govern the content being provided to us?
Look, across the world, there is tabloid media and there is mainstream media. Across the world, there are, if you go to Britain, the Sun newspaper has a page 3 pin-up girl every day. And they've had it for years. Across the world, there are shouting matches on TV. There is the Fox News model. India is not unique. And different people will provide you different kinds of stories. Many years ago, there used to be a Hindi magazine called Dharma Yug. And there used to be a Hindi magazine called Manohar Kahaniya. Now, you could watch Manohar Kahaniya or you could watch Dharma Yug, depending on what kind of journalism you believed in. Similarly, I think, as I said, I think the market cannot dictate content. If market dictates content as it is at the moment, then we are in a crisis. That's why we are in a crisis, because we are tailoring our content purely for the market. Now, as a result, what we are doing, instead of raising the bar, we are actually lowering the bar. Because we are saying the consumer out there wants entertainment. He wants news also packaged as entertainment. So he wants Indrani Mukherjee rather than, a serious story, let's say, on farmer suicides. Now, that's a very dangerous trap to be in. So I think we can't get into this argument of purely market-driven journalism, because purely market-driven journalism will never end up being truly public interest journalism.
Okay, sir. So 130, we rank pretty low in when it comes to free media. Has it been, and it's a very recent statistical data. So has it been this way since the longest of times, or is it because of the latest change of power in Delhi?
No, no. Look. I don't think. First of all, I'm surprised. Let's be honest. I think our media is relatively free. India is not China. India is not Saudi Arabia. Okay, perhaps we are not as free as maybe some Western democracies claim they are, but I think we are reasonably out there. All kinds of opinion today are expressed across media. We have a great tradition of a free media. Yes, there are challenges. There are challenges of the pattern of ownership of channels or of media. There are challenges which are posed because the nature of the political leadership in some parts of the country. But by and large, I am not among those who believe that the Indian media is not free. We are still remarkably free. We have hundreds and thousands of newspapers. We have hundreds of TV channels. How can anyone control us beyond a point? I think I'm surprised if we are ranked 130. I won't accept that. I believe we are far freer than we give ourselves credit for. How we use the freedom is our challenge. We have at times misused our freedom, or we have seen, today's media is at times tends to see ghosts where none exist. But I think we are relatively a free media.
Moving further, sir, recently Manipur was torched, and it didn't get the due recognition or the due space in media than the typical Masala Indrani Mukherjee's case. Somebody dying in Kashmir or Kanyakumari or Manipur, that death is equally valuable as a death in a broad daylight of Delhi. So why this double standards?
Look, I think there is, as I said, if the market dictates journalism, then this is what you'll get. To the market, Manipur doesn't matter. There are no TRP boxes there. It's on the periphery of the country. There's what I call the tyranny of distance. It's too far away from your national headquarters. On the other hand, your advertisers are located, for example, in Gurgaon. So if there's water logging in Gurgaon, immediately it will become headline news because your advertisers are seeing that outside their house. So floods in Assam are distant, or in Manipur are distant, but waterlogging in Gurgaon matters because all your advertisers are located in Gurgaon. So if market is going to dictate your journalistic choices, then this is what will happen. Farmer suicide is a distant story for most people who live in urban areas. What confronts them there is perhaps, traffic jams in the heart of Delhi or Mumbai. So I think we have to be conscious. I keep repeating it, that look, we can't live in absence of the market. It's a reality. But unless you are able to, in some ways, force the market almost into changing, or create a new product which the market itself will say, wow, this is a new thing, you're not going to be able to win this battle. If you retain the status quo, this is how life will go on, where Manipur will not get covered and Gurgaon will. But you have to have the courage, the innovative capacity to be able to create new media products that can actually change the market. That's the challenge.
Okay. So, sir, do you see any ray of hope amongst all this crisis we are in?
Absolutely. At the moment, I think we all look for hope in various forms. I see it hopefully in the media and the digital space. Because I think what will happen with digital is that you can, at relatively low costs, be able to create these new products that I'm talking about. I saw yesterday only here, a former journalist of the Hindu has created an excellent website for the Northeast, a sort of news magazine called, I think, Nezain, Northeast magazine. And it's got information from all across the Northeast. Now, he doesn't need a huge investment. With limited investment, you can create a crackingly good website. So I'm hopeful that over time, through crowdsourcing, through being able to change the balance of power between the journalist and the citizen, make the citizen, in a sense, a citizen reporter or a citizen journalist, I think you will be able to create new innovative products. I'm hopeful that the future, that digital will, by bringing costs down, the costs of production, costs of content down, be able to provide you a greater diversity of content than TV does today.
Okay, sir. So one last thing which troubles me is, if you have a journalist and let's say Salman Khan, so if that particular journalist has been a huge fan of Salman, I don't think he's going to ask tough questions to him, because at the end of the interview, probably he'll prefer having a selfie with him.
It could. I mean, it happens to me with cricketers. I find it impossible to ask tough questions to cricketers beyond a point, because I think, to be a test cricketer requires a lot of skill. I tried to play the game, I played it to a certain level, and then realized that, to go to the next level requires a lot of skill. So I have a lot of admiration for anyone who plays for India, for example. So I find it very difficult, for example, to ask a cricketer, when he's off form, as to why, and sort of be tough with him. It's perhaps true of anyone who's a film buff when it comes to a film star. What troubles me that even political journalists now tend to take selfies with their leaders rather than questions. I gave the example of Narendra Modi yesterday. A lot of editors last year during Diwali were more busy taking selfies with Mr. Modi than actually asking him questions. So I think these are all these are all concerns that our journalists, for example, becoming cheerleaders instead of really becoming people who will. Our main task as journalists is to ask questions, and I think there is a bit of you scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of journalism that goes on in India. We need to break out of that. The flip is not to just be to have trial by media also. So I think we need to find the balance, and I don't think we found it as yet.
Okay, sir. So you have been you have been observing national politics since, let's say, probably 2.5 decades. So how do you see our political scene going from the point it is right now?
In India, a week is a long time in politics. So I always hesitate to predict the future in India. In 2009, if you had told me that the Congress was going to be demolished to 44 seats in 2014, I would have said you're joking. In 2002, if you had told me Narendra Modi will be the Prime Minister of a majority BJP government in 2015, I'd say you're joking. But I think what is very clear is that India has been looking for strong leadership. So anyone who wants to be a Prime Minister or a leader today in the future will have to provide a strong sense of leadership. That's critical, I believe. Younger India wants strong leadership. I think also it is important that whoever is coming to power now has to have a clear economic agenda. I think the future of India, and it always should be, is who is going to be able to create job-driven growth. So increasingly, I think that will also make a difference. And I do believe that politics will increasingly be about the ability to rise above narrow identities. I think that the era of only focusing on your region or only on your caste is slowly going to come to an end. It's never going to disappear, but it's slowly coming to an end. Now you've got to rise above narrow loyalties and be able to address a wider constituency in this country, particularly younger India.
Exactly. Sir, I know for a fact that you have got a flight to catch up. So, though as much as I want to continue talking further and capitalize on this opportunity, I know I'm sounding ridiculously greedy. But then I think we'll have to come.
You're not asking me the tough question. You're also doing what you yourself spoke about, the way journalists ask Salman Khan.
Sir, so maybe because of the lack of time,
No worries.
It was a thorough pleasure as well as privilege having you on board, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.